Hey, Young Turks, we are here in front of New York City Hall, where a press conference with a coalition of over 60 progressive organizations from New York State have come together to endorse a group of Democrats who are running against the IDC. Of course, you know what the IDC is. We've been covering it for the past over a year, actually, at this point. They are the 8 Democrats in the Senate who have been conferencing with Republicans, handing the control of the state Senate in New York to Republicans, which, of course, New York has a Democratic Assembly and a governor that's a Democrat and elected a Senate. So we have one of these candidates who, I have to give you a little bit of a preface here. One of our first stories was on Senator Peralta in Queens when he was being protested, and it got a lot of attention. So Jessica Ramos is running for Senate in the 13th District in Queens. Why did you decide to run?
I decided to run because ultimately it was about the work that wasn't getting done in Albany. At the time, I was working right here in City Hall, actually, working for Mayor de Blasio, and I really learned how limited city government, the power of city government can be in the everyday lives of New Yorkers. It's actually Albany who dictates how much funding our public schools get, and so that's something I understand as a mother. It's Albany who decides exactly what our rent regulations are, and as a renter, and I know how hard it can be for many working New Yorkers to make ends meet every month, why it is that rent regulations and stronger tenant protections are so important. And as someone who doesn't have a driver's license and who is on the train every day and infamously got stuck on the 7 train for 2 hours this past summer, that was dubbed the summer of hell, it was really, that crisis was really set into perspective for me, because what we're seeing is that the IDC empowering Republicans is really stunting progress for working class New Yorkers. And working class New Yorkers are, of course, who are under attack against Trump every day, every which way you look at it. You know, whether it's, our religion, whether it's our skin color, whether it's, even our environment in our schools. And we can't fight Trump if we have a Republican in charge of the state Senate. And we have a Republican in charge of the state Senate because Jose Peralta and the rest of the IDC voted to put him there.
Jose Peralta had this protest in his district over the DREAM Act.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
At a moment when we're talking about the DREAM Act and Dreamers, how important is that issue in your district?
Very important. Our district is largely immigrant, foreign-born, or like me, first-generation American, sons and daughters of immigrants. And we do have a very large undocumented population, including students that would greatly benefit from paying in-state tuition, which is what the State DREAM Act is all about. And as someone, for Jose Peralta, as someone who is the person who carries that bill, and then to turn around and vote for a Republican majority, he's actually undermining his own bill. That's not a legislative strategy that is effective. That is not a way to work with your colleagues to make sure that you're passing your bill and that you're helping these young people have access to the higher education that they deserve.
What's your sense on the ground right now? Do most people in your district know what's happening at this point?
It's time for New York City and New York State to be affordable to working families. And I am damn proud to be a working families Democrat. We have a lot of work to do still. Yes, many of my neighbors know about the IDC, understand what's at stake with having these Trump Democrats in office. But not everybody knows, and that's why it's so important that this campaign get around the district to every single neighborhood, explaining what's at stake, because every single person has something at stake in this election, and offering my views. Not only that I am the real Democrat in the race, but that I also have ideas to offer and make sure that we are improving the lives of all New Yorkers. But that's why the endorsement today was so important. right? Because this True Blue Coalition is who's going to help us knock on doors and get that message out. And I'm really very thankful to all of the work that they've already been doing to tell people about those Trump Democrats we'll be replacing.
I, Jessica Ramos, upon being elected state senator, promised to only caucus with mainline Democrats, to vote for Andrea Stewart Cousins as my leader, and to never back any other Democrat turncoat in the state Senate.